drop, Raider. Oh, let's go! Let's go. Oh, getting imitated, but duplicated. That bull with no hair, that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! What? Woo! The Raider Bear! Rick and Morty Raiders. Rick and Morty Raiders. Woo! What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to the show. Always there, Raider Nation, for a Raider Bear. Appreciate you all tuning in. But first, Tradish! Raider Bear Live. First comment. Woo! MVP tonight goes to Dustin King. DK, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Tonight's gold medalist, numero uno, el jefe, Dustin King. Second place, my silver medal, Vincent Rubalcaba, and he really won. I didn't give it to him just because his last name is like my absolute favorite last name now. I really, he really won. I didn't give it to him. I would, but I didn't. You figure it out. Third place, bronze, Josh Harrison, the heavyweight champion of the world, slumming in the basement tonight. Hey, man, this is next level chef. You can't be down in the basement. You got Gordon Ramsay Bear looking bad over here. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the show. Yeah, if you don't know Gordon Ramsay and Next Level Chef, look it up. Great show. Welcome to the show, and saying hello to my good friend John the Lion Leon. What's up? Welcome to the show, and my good friend Corinna Trujillo. And Corinna Trujillo's presence always reminds me to remind all of you to please like and follow me on YouTube, but even more importantly, subscribe and like me on Facebook. And if you look right down there, my Facebook viewers, right next to the blue thumbs up, there's a green badge. You just click on that and you're on your way to subscribe to Raider Bear Live. And we're going to be doing some more really big things just for our supporters very, very soon. I'm working on a whole new television show that's going to be just for supporters, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Ramiro Cashflow Castro. What's up, brother? Watching me on YouTube. Appreciate you, brother. Trade Darren Turf Toe Waller. Raiders C-Dub. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Well, you got your wish, brother. You know, everybody's torn about that today. I've got Raider fans that are ready to jump off the roof again because we got rid of Darren Waller. And then I've got fans that, you know, are like you. They're just like, hey, you know, the guy's always injured. You know what I mean? And, you know, he's not really the best blocker. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was talking about that way back when he was learning how to play tight end when we signed Jason Witten off free agency, the former Dallas Cowboy legend. And Jason Witten said the guy was so green, he couldn't believe it. I mean, he literally knew nothing about responsibilities of a tight end other than the offensive ones where you run routes and catch the ball. But outside of that, his responsibilities blocking and when he's supposed to shift and stuff like that, he didn't understand it. How to not show and give away signs that you're, you know, going to block or going to run a pattern. It's one or the other. You don't want to give a tell to the defense. He had tells where the defense could tell he was staying into block, which meant run. And sometimes he would, you know, get out there and he'd get his hands up like this, like a receiver. And then that would tell the defense he's going out into the pattern and that he's not blocking. So he was telegraphing his moves. So see, he was very green still, even though he had put up a lot of nice yards for us. So for us to move him and get us a compensatory third round pick doesn't sound like much, guys, but third round picks are starters. first, second, third, and fourth round starters are areas where you can find starters for sure. Once you get to the fifth, sixth, and seventh rounds, you're taking risks, but you can still find guys that are starters. Denton Rhodes, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. And we'll talk about the other people that we got in free agency today in just a moment. Doc Raider, what's up? Welcome to the show, Doc. Hi, Val. Hi, Tommy. Dun, dun, dun. Raiders. What's up, BL? Welcome to the show. Vincent Rubalcaba, what do you think about Jakobi Meyers pickup and the linebacker from Pittsburgh? Vincent, I don't really love the Jakobi Meyers pickup only because I don't think that he's particularly explosive. I don't think he's particularly big. I don't think he's particularly fast. He seems like he's kind of like a tweener at everything. But because he's one of Josh's guys, we gave him a job. But I think it's just a comfort level because he knows also that he's going to come in and give our quarterback an opportunity to always have somewhere to throw. Because obviously Jimmy Garoppolo is going to know this offense. Sorry, I'm still trying to control vomit reflex when I have to start talking about that man. But we know that he'll be here. He'll know that offense. And then now with Jakobi Meyers, he'll probably have Jakobi Meyers as kind of a go-to guy for him because he'll know he'll always run the right route and run it crisp. I can give him that too. He's a good route runner. And you asked about the linebacker. The linebacker from Pittsburgh is a thumper. He's a very nice run stopper. He will help us a lot when it comes to the defensive run stop, especially when you consider that we may lose Denzel Perryman to free agency. I would go as far as to say we will, because no matter where he gets an offer from, it's going to be better than what we're offering him. That's the whole reason I think he's looking. I don't think it's that we don't want him. I just think we're offering him essentially the same money more than likely. And he outplayed whatever we were paying him. Tanamoku, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Rude Boy Raider 305 RN for L. What's up, Rude Boy? Troy Gill, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. You made it to the show earlier tonight. Brian Paul, Nevada 775 RN for L. Appreciate that, Brian. Nathan Matthews says, what's up, Bear, on this glorious trade, all your talent away day? Well, I mean, I've been trying to get people ready for the whole Darren Waller thing because I felt like Darren Waller was in the plans. Then everyone said I was crazy because they saw him get married and Raiders go to the wedding and we celebrated. I didn't do anything with free agency, obviously. And he went somewhere else, you know. I mean, expect Hunter Renfrow to be next. Oh, yeah. Seriously. And we'll just try to get a third, fourth, or fifth round pick or something like that for him. David Pelkliver, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Hi, Val. I think it's cool that you say Dad's name in your intro. Oh, yeah, for sure. Jose Chiriquez, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the show. I like what we're doing. I know a lot of people don't. John, I know you were always okay with moving on from Darren Waller, especially when you consider the fact that he was injury prone by some people's estimations. I thought some of that was just him holding out with his agent, you know what I mean? But we'll see. Because now with him being with the Giants, he's going to be expected to be an effective weapon. But I think that something interesting is going to happen for all of us. And I think John Leon already anticipates this. But for the rest of you, I'll say this. I think there's a very high likelihood that we will see Darren Waller go on to the Giants and not have great success. He'll catch balls and he'll get touchdowns, but he'll make mistakes. He'll be the reason they mess up on certain plays, and he'll miss blocks on run plays, and he'll miss blocks that'll get his quarterback hit. It's going to happen, you know what I mean? Because they're not going to know about his deficiencies. They're just going to see all the highlights and say, bring him in. And then when it gets time to do the dirty work, he won't do it. And sometimes it's not that he won't do it. It's that he misunderstands his assignments sometimes. Reyes Antonio, what I know about the safety Epps is that he is also a run stuffer. He is not a pass coverage safety. He's more of a in the box guy. Now, can he play coverage? Of course, he can play coverage. He's fast. It's nothing like that. I'm not trying to insult the guy. I'm just simply saying he has 3 interceptions in 5 years. Okay. And then when you read the reports about him from scouts, the report you get back every time is that he's literally like a linebacker at safety. So we brought in, to give you a visual, we brought in another Jonathan Abram, a guy who's not the best in coverage, but the difference between Jonathan Abram and Epps is that Abram was a liability in pass coverage, whereas Epps is not a liability. He's just not a guy that causes turnovers, but he'll be there in coverage. He won't get out of position. He played well for the championship Super Bowl playing Eagles, and so he'll know his responsibilities. He'll play well for us. Waller can rap about his injuries in New York. Now I've been saying for 2 years. Now you remember. Yeah, I do remember you saying it. But I'll be honest with you, I was saying it right along with you because I just kept saying the guy was a gadget. He was a wide receiver converting to tight end. That's what he always was. And by the way, when he was with the Baltimore Ravens, he was on their practice squad. He wasn't even really technically a part of the team. He was on the practice squad, which I mean, obviously is on the team. I'm just saying he wasn't a starter. He never saw the field. And then John Gruden went out onto the field when John Gruden was still our coach and saw Darren Waller running around practicing, and he immediately made an offer for him. And so the rest is history. But he was a guy that was a gimmick. Jason Eaton Bear, you can't be upset that Waller is gone. You said it last year. No, I'm not. Robert Lassiter said trading Waller was a good move. Yeah, no, I just know no one loves it because he was an effective weapon. I don't care what anyone says. He was an effective weapon. He just made his mistakes. And yes, he was having issues with either he was an injury-prone guy or he was holding out. But to me, this doesn't hurt. Yeah, Jason Eaton says third-round pick and $11 million, and Renfrow will be gone by Thursday. I agree. Thursday or Friday. The music's really bad. No, Tanamoku, you can't really justify a better pick than that. In fact, if you're the type of viewer that's upset with the fact that we only got a third-round pick for Waller, let me help you because I think I can help you, okay? Now, let's be honest about one thing. First, is he worth a first-round pick? Okay, I think we'll both agree the answer is no. He's not worth a first-round pick. That's too valuable. Okay, so let's get past that. Okay, now, then you would have to say all that's left, is he worth a second-round pick? I would argue, again, he's not because he's not a natural starter at the position he's playing. So he comes in still with things that he has to sharpen, tools that he needs to improve on. So see, I would argue that a third-round pick in reality is perfect because a fourth-round pick would have been too low. Do you see what I'm saying? So to me, a third-round pick was just right. Jim Vanderlyn, do you think we lose much having Foster Moreau as our starter? I don't think Foster Moreau is going to be here. Foster Moreau's probably gone too. Jeff Bailey, I am not happy with our team. Jeff, wow, that's a great profile picture. She's beautiful. Great smile, brother. Now, I would say this to you. Even if you may not be happy, you have to remember we're all kind of in the whirlpool right now. We're going through the transition with this new coach and this new regime. But I got to be honest with you. Jeff. If you really think about this for a moment, and again, I'm going to try to help another viewer like I just did with Tanamoku. Try to look at it this way. We weren't winning with what we were doing. Do you see what I'm saying? In other words, we fall in love with Derek Carr and the big wins and him throwing to Devontae, but we forget that there weren't enough wins. There were too many deficiencies. There were too many times there were interceptions and the defense letting him down. And so I just think that combination of things means you blow it up. I don't like halfway rebuilds. Blow it up. You know what I mean? Now, when I say blow it up, that also I said no halfway rebuilds. So that gives the impression, I mean, get rid of everyone. That's not what I mean. Because you remember, you still have a decent offensive line. It really just needs tweaking. So I don't mind the offensive line. I don't mind the defensive line and just tweaking it. You don't have to get rid of guys. You just tweak it. But the secondary, I'm making moves. The wide receivers, I'm making moves. And you see they're doing that. The linebacker, they're doing that. I'm making moves. You see what I'm saying? Seth Wagner, Raider Bear, what's your opinion on Aaron going to the Jets? Seth Wagner, I'm going to say the same thing about that I'm going to say about Jimmy Garoppolo, okay? And I hate to say this to everyone because it gives this sound like I'm not a real Raider fan to some Raider fans, which I've never understood. There are Raider fans who just believe that you're not allowed to say bad things about the Raiders, and I just think that's stupid. I think that's stupid. We're allowed to insult the coach, and we're allowed to insult Mark Davis, which is low-hanging fruit, obviously. But we're not allowed to insult the roster itself or the players themselves. I mean, come on. Just relax. Take a deep breath, okay? I can be a Raider fan and have an opinion that doesn't necessarily say the Raiders are glowingly good right now. It doesn't make a difference. You know what I mean? But having said that, I think that Jimmy Garoppolo is here to get a lifetime, retirement fund. This is his 401k he's cashing in. I don't think he cares if he does well with us or not. I think he's going to go out on the field. I think he's going to get hurt or fake an injury at some point, get his bonus guarantee, and walk off the field a rich man. You know what I mean? I don't see this regime with Josh McDaniels finishing strong. I don't see that. I see us stuck with Josh McDaniels probably at least 4 years. And during that 4-year period with Josh McDaniels, you're going to see me come on every night and tell you, hey, I hope we can do it with this, and I hope we can do it with that. And I'll talk to you about our new players, and I'll talk to you about our stats and our quarterback and so on. But in the overall scheme of things, I don't see Josh McDaniels being a successful coach. I just don't. I want to be wrong. I really do. I want to be wrong. Hey, Raider family. What's up, Rachel Mattery? Welcome to the show. Like that picture. I think Perryman is gone for sure. Yeah, Raider C-Dub, we're in agreement. With all these Cheatriot players we're getting, is Mick Pendejo's goal and change the Raiders' name to the Ratriots? No, let's hope not, Corina Trujillo. Mike Hendu, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Steven Bozilla, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Member of the pack. That's my buddy right there. Another one of my friends in the house. So our draft picks will be all defense and a right tackle. Bob, I still think that my early report, I've got to stick to my guns because sometimes I change my opinion and then I find out my original, sometimes I do that. I don't flip-flop, but sometimes I see the thing differently. I'm not going to do that this time. My original report that I got from someone very close to the Raiders that I'm friends with is that they're going after Anthony Richardson. And that the reason why they got Jimmy Garoppolo was specifically for this reason, that at any moment, you can pull Jimmy Garoppolo either for an injury or because you just think Anthony's ready to go. And so it could be week 6, it could be week 9, week 4 because of injury. Who knows? But he's going to bring in Anthony Richardson, I think. I think he's going to get student schooled by Jimmy and whoever our number 2 is. And then he's going to get the job eventually. Eric Peterson, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. This shouldn't be a shock with the dumping of players. We did this before when Mac was like, we are loading up on picks and hope they pan out. Vernon Moshman, welcome to the show. Great comment. And yes, this is a teardown. You know what I mean? Some people say rebuild. That this is a rebuild, but we're in the tear down process. So you tear it down, get picks, and then rebuild it with picks and free agency. We've already started with some of the free agency. Soon we'll start with the picks. Yes, David Pell-Cliver. I think Renfro is next for sure. Are these moves going to turn the locker room even worse or make it better? 2 tweets from 2 of our stars, Adams and Jacobs, not happy about the moves. Just seems like more and more Patriot players. Nathan Matthews, welcome to the show. As usual, Nathan, I compliment you again. You always give great comments. And I would say this to you. I don't think the locker room's going to like it initially because I think the locker room already doesn't like Josh McDaniels. And then the way Derek Carr was handled out the door, now you have to refine that relationship again with the locker room. Now, in this process of what they're doing right now, then the draft, then when we get to camps and OTAs, that's where he'll start to earn the locker room back by showing them the vision. See, what they did in New England was they pissed off all the players in New England, too. They didn't like playing there. They didn't like the coach. But when the winning started coming and they realized that they really were in a situation where the guy to my right and the guy to my left just does their job, I don't have to look at them to see if they're doing their job and should I shade over and help them. I don't have to look over here and see if this guy's doing his job. I don't have to shade over there and help him. I can just stay right here and do my job. And eventually that grew, and the players began to love it so much that then when they brought in new guys, they would see the guys that are there already existing, loving it, and then they would build and buy into it. But see, we're in the development stage of that. We have to get everyone first in the locker room on board with the scheme, the play calling, and then win. Show them that it works. And then show everyone that everyone's going to be in their place doing their job, and that's it. And not having to depend on their fellow man. You do your job and they'll do theirs. And if that means they support you, then they'll be there. But you have to trust in that. And so it creates a brotherhood kind of mentality. I'm not saying that we like the Patriots, but you can't disrespect that logic. You know what I mean? It's a brothers in arms. It goes back to a military sort of thinking. Trust that your brother will be there. You know what I mean? If you want to bite on a short pass because you think you might get an interception and you miss, you got to know that your safety, your corner, your linebacker buddy is going to be behind you, ready to make a play. Cover your back. Dominic Cliver, no, I do not see us re-signing Foster Moreau. Joseph Fernandez, I don't know if our team's going to be trash. I just don't think we're going to have very many wins because I think that Jimmy Garoppolo will get hurt. And I'm not trying to be a troll and just, oh yeah, of course, because Jimmy Garoppolo has injury history, he's going to get injured. It's not that. It's just that the guy does get hurt, and we're only getting him older than he's ever been. And he was getting broken down with the Niners, which is why they wanted to move on from him. And you can't forget about Jimmy Garoppolo's history, okay? He may be a Raider now, but that doesn't change his previous history and some of the things that, you know, he did when he was with the Niners. I mean, the Niners beat the Green Bay Packers in a championship game, throwing the ball 8 times for 6 catches. When have you ever heard of any starting quarterback in any NFL game, especially one of that magnitude, okay, a championship game, and he throws 8 balls, 8? And so you see your head coach, who himself has always been an offensive coordinator. So he's all about the quarterback, and he had absolutely zero trust in Jimmy Garoppolo. Zero. That he wouldn't throw an interception and screw up their win. So they just threw the ball a handful of times and ran the ball like crazy and played defense and actually beat Green Bay in Green Bay playing that way. So it just goes to show you can actually game manage Jimmy Garoppolo, which is to me really what he is. But in the offense that he knows, will he expand? Will he become more and be better in the offense that he grew up in? You know, I don't know. We'll see. Frank Zander, Raiders! Jason Eaton said, we are all upset about Jimmy G, but there was not a quarterback out there that we would have made a difference. We wait until next year to get Williams unless we get Stroud. Well, see, then, Jason, if it was only for 1 year, why not go after Matthew Stafford? Why not go after Baker Mayfield? I don't like Baker Mayfield, but if you're asking me for 1 year for a guy who can throw darts and will go out onto the field every single game with his balls in his hand and act like he's Clint Eastwood, I'll take that guy. Because that's one thing you can't say about Baker Mayfield. He doesn't show up not ready to play. The guy shows up ready to play and looks like he eats steel. You know, he's not that good a quarterback. He's a great thrower of the ball. And if you keep him clean, he can make plays and beat you. Let's not forget what he did to us. So as fans, when every time I say Baker Mayfield, everyone goes, what? Let's not forget he beat us. So show a little respect before you're suddenly like Baker Mayfield. Steve Sweet, Bear! What's up, Steve? Welcome to the show. Richard Especial, reading between the lines here with all these moves, but I'll take it. Raiders, love ya. Raider Bear fam. What's up, Richard? Love you right back, brother, and hope you're enjoying the show. Didn't Mark Davis say this wasn't a rebuild, but it was must-win situation when they signed McDaniels? Joseph Fernandez, I can't address your comment because what you're asking me to do is confirm that Mark Davis is a liar. And we already know that. And what's worse is he's a bad, stupid liar. I know I can mention this and everyone will know exactly what I'm talking about. Do you remember when there was one particular game last year for the Raiders where Mark Davis was sitting in the box with this just drop dead gorgeous blonde, right? Tell me he didn't look incredibly stupid in that moment. I mean, be honest. I mean, did that not look like the thirstiest thing ever? Even if she is a gold digger and he's got the money and they can make it happen, it looked pathetic. It just looks so sad. You know what I mean? It's like, God, man, just go out with someone your own age. You know, go find a real woman, not a toy. You know what I mean? That looks like she has to be home before the street lights go out. You should be ashamed of yourself, Mark Davis. She looked like she was like 20. I'm sure she's like 25 or something like that, but so what? That was outrageous. How do you feel about Jimmy Garoppolo move and all the moves so far? Santacito J, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Great profile pic. Santacito J, I would say this to you. I'm not confident about the Jimmy Garoppolo pick. If they had made this Jimmy Garoppolo pick 5 or 6 years ago, I'd be a little bit more confident about it because he would probably be just going into some of those injuries that he got in the time that he got with the Niners. And hopefully we'd be able to keep him healthy in that. But at this point, he's the kind of guy that it doesn't matter what he does. It's a matter of when, not if, that he'll get injured. He will get injured. It's just a matter of when, not if. That's why I'm more interested to see what we're going to do at his backup because his backup is going to play. Whoever his backup is, they're going to play. And by the way, they better be veteran because if we sign Anthony Richardson, we can't have him out there in his first year. We can't. I know Anthony Richardson physically can handle all the hits and everything, but he won't know the playbook and he will not be ready and you will destroy his confidence. No. Anna Diaz-Rincon, always there for a Raider Bear, my first supporter ever. Mwah. Hi, love. Welcome to the show. And hello to your husband if he's watching. Yeah, they got a thirder for Waller. Glenn Ellery, I thought the third round pick was sufficient. He's not worth a 1. Okay, a 2 is the kind of thing you get for a guy that's a solid at his position. You could argue Darren Waller was still learning tight end. He was still becoming a great tight end. You could say he's a great tight end because of his offense, but you can't say he's a great tight end because of his blocking, which is terrible. And he also happens to miss blocks because of audibles. In other words, if I'm in a pass play and I come up and I say, okay, we're going to a run play, he won't know necessarily if he's supposed to motion out of that and block on the left side. He may not know that it's turned to a block and he goes out to run a pattern. He made those mistakes last year, or not last year, but the year before that. No, Steve Sweet, I'm pretty sure his rap career is over. I think that I'm pretty positive that's something he did just to kill time while on injury. Raider C-Dub said, I like Darren Waller's story coming out of recovery and getting sober off of heroin and drugs from grocery store to the NFL. Well, Raider C-Dub, no one said anything about his life story. His life story is amazing. And the work he was doing off the field also fantastic. And then also his rules that he had. I don't know if you've heard this, but whenever he goes on road trips, whenever they would land the plane and they would figure out what hotel they were in and everything, he would immediately reach out to find where the closest, AA sit down Drugs Anonymous kind of nightly meetings were being held. So if he was in Arizona, he'd check Arizona. If he's in New York, he'll check New York. And then he would go to those meetings to stay sober and to stay within his sobriety, but also even within his meeting schedule, trying to keep up with that, even while he was on the road. I thought that was brilliant. Seth Wagner said, Aaron will suck with the Jets. I disagree, guys. I would argue that putting Aaron Rodgers with the Jets is arguably like what would have happened with the Niners. You've got the Niners, a team that's set, that runs the ball, that's got its starters, that has its coaching staff. Everything's in place, a great defense. The Jets have a great defense. They just didn't have a quarterback. Now they not only have a quarterback, they have a pretty damn good one. Now, the only flaw that I can see with this, besides the cold weather, because I know everybody wants to talk about the cold weather, and it will affect him. But remember, he came from a cold weather play style in Green Bay. So that's why I think that's wrong. And then more importantly, it's the Jets offensive line that's worrisome. Because the Jets, unless I see them really make moves in free agency and in the draft in these next few days to protect Aaron Rodgers, I don't think it'll work. But if they give him protection, it will work. Because if he's not protected, he'll get hurt. I ain't going to lie, Darren effed up a bunch of Devontae's passes this year. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not upset that Darren Waller's gone. I'm not. It just feels like we've taken 10 steps backwards in 2 days. Well, okay, hang on. Let me go into this real quick. So far, the Raiders have added Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously, Marcus Epps, the safety that we picked up from the championship Eagles. Then you have Philip Dorsett, wide receiver, formerly of the Texans. Think like a Brandon Cooks, because Brandon Cooks is a wide receiver we all know because he's a veteran, he's a star, he's pretty good. I would argue that Philip Dorsett is a poor man's version of Brandon Cooks. And poor man only in the sense of he doesn't have as much success as Cooks, but I think he could with us. Okay, then you have Robert Spillane. That's the linebacker that that's the linebacker that we picked up. He looks like he could be really nice for us. Big guy, real aggressive, a tackler. I'm not sure how that's going to apply, though, as far as to the passing game, because from what I understand, he's just a run stopper. He is not meant to cover tight ends. And as you know, in the AFC West, it's tight ends galore. So people attack with their tight ends in the AFC West. So we'll have to do something about that. Okay. Also, Jacoby Myers, the wide receiver from the Pats. We talked about that already, but just to recap, he'll be a good fit for Jimmy Garoppolo because he'll know the offense and Jimmy knows him. He knows Jimmy. So there's already a rapport there. They'll get that back in camp and OTAs, the preseason. And then once the season starts, he'll probably be his go-to guy, especially on third down. Just look for that. Jacoby Myers will become our new Hunter Renfrow to a certain aspect. Okay, and then at corner, Sidney Jones, cornerback. Now, Sidney Jones is the former cornerback of the Seattle Seahawks, and I can tell you he's not bad. He's nice. I like Sidney Jones. He's aggressive. He reminds me a little bit of Pac-Man Jones in the fact that he's just an aggressive, tough cornerback. He's not one of those cornerbacks that's a finesse cover guy. He's a cover guy, but he's a strong cover guy. He puts his hands on you. He pushes your hips, and then if he has to support the run, he'll get up there and he'll bang a guy. So I like the signing of Sidney Jones a lot. So there you have that. And then let me go over here because I have some homework I did for you guys. And I was going to read that to you if I still have it here. Let me see if I still have it. I don't know if I still have that. Oh, wait, no, I do have that. Okay. All right. So this is just, and also we have re-signed Jakob Johnson, the big fullback that we originally brought over from the Patriots. And most of you who have already had an opportunity to see Jakob Johnson, I'm sure you're probably excited about that. Jakob Johnson was really nice for us, a really solid blocker, a tough guy, and then great hands. I mean, really great hands coming out of the backfield. Okay, Robert Spillane, what does it mean? Woefully thin at linebacker. The Raiders address the inside thumper role with Spillane, who excels in the run defense, but leaves more to be desired in pass coverage. Okay, so there's that with that. And then Jacoby Myers. The New England-Las Vegas connection continues, and the Raiders add a legit number 2 receiver. Myers, who played for the Raiders and McDaniels for 3 seasons when the latter was New England offensive coordinator, led the Patriots with 804 receptions and a career-high 6 touchdowns and 67 catches last season. He's a big target at 6'2", 200 pounds, is especially adept between the numbers. So in other words, 6'2", 200 pounds, you don't hear about too many 200-pound wide receivers that are blazing fast. So you're not going to see that. So he's a good route runner, good hands, and he'll be excited to take on this role with us. We re-signed Brandon Faison back. He played for the Colts. He played for us, and then he's come back now. We're addressing our defensive secondary and general cornerbacks in particular, bringing back a familiar face in Faison, who played for the Colts last year, was with the Las Vegas Raiders in 2021 and enjoyed a career season with 13 passes defense and an interception in 12 games for the Raiders. Now, for those people that have a problem with this, I would say let it go, because I happen to like Brandon Faison. And those people who got upset and say, oh, well, Brandon Faison got burned. Every corner gets burned sometimes, okay? And he was only just with us off of waiver wires when we brought him in last time. This is different. We're bringing him in. He's going to get OTAs and pre-camps and so on and so forth. I think he'll be good for us. Okay, Marcus Epps. What does it mean? The Raiders are addressing a weak link in the defense in the secondary. The addition of Epps, who played 1,058 snaps last season, that was the most for the NFC champs, had 94 tackles, a career best 6 passes defensed with a forced fumble and a career high 17 starts. Epps should be a fine complement to the free safety Trevon Moehrig, the last line of the Vegas defense. The Raiders could still add a body or 3 at safety, though, as Duron Harmon, who had 2 interceptions last year, is also a free agent. Duron Harmon will not last. He will not be a Raider. He will try out free agency, I'm almost sure. This guy that was writing the article I'm reading about wasn't giving his opinion on that, but I'm giving mine. He won't be with the Raiders. Not because we don't want him. I just think that, again, there'll be an opportunity for him to go out into free agency and get a better deal. Yeah, well, honestly, Tanamoku, we won't have to worry about that as much with Epps. He's a smarter player, a much smarter player. And so we can bring him in, and where Trevon Moehrig will be our pass coverage safety, I keep wanting to call him Omar Epps, the comedian. Marcus Epps will run up and play the run for us and fill the box and be nice. And I'll be honest with you, if you ask me, he probably ends up being a cover tight end kind of guy too, helping Nate Hobbs sometimes in the interior, and shutting that down when we get a particularly nasty tight end like a Travis Kelce. Steve Sweet likes the Epps moves. Sorry about that, guys. I bumped the wrong button again. It happens. I'm a newbie with this newbie mouse of mine. Yeah, bringing back Faison was great. I really liked him. Doc, our team wasn't decent in 2021. We were lucky. Yeah, Ray McClain, I agree. I don't mind the adjustments. We need to get better. Antoine Anthony says, we have no solid tight ends. How do we fix this? Well, to be honest with you, Antoine, welcome to the show. And then secondly, I would say to you that both free agency and this draft are going to have a lot of tight end potential, especially the guy from South Dakota, who I think could fall in the 2nd or 3rd round. And if we could get him in the 3rd round, with us having 3 third-round picks, we could probably get him pretty early in the 3rd round. I think that would be nice. Have a good night, Anna. Much love. Ruben Regoza, you don't get lucky that many times. It's part of being prepared and having a good offense. Well, yeah, Ruben, I agree with that, but luck does have a little bit to do with it when you consider that we did come from behind in some of those games and so on and so forth. Jared Murphy said ownership and coaching staff. What are you going to do for the defense? What are we going to do for the defensive line? Miguel Garcia, I'm pretty sure we're going to make our move in the draft, and we're going to probably bring in at least 2, maybe 3 guys on the defensive line. Maybe even a guy that's like a cross defensive end, defensive tackle, like we did with Will Ferrell. And hopefully it works out better than Will Ferrell. All right. God, I'm so popular right now. Shut up, phone. Anthony Contreras said, I hope the best for us. You and me both, brother. Mark Smith, Anthony, any word on Divine Diablo? Yes, Mark Smith. He will be on the roster. There's no doubt about it. Matt Marinovich. Now, see, I just assumed that. I didn't have tape of Epps. And because of the way we picked him up and they said he was good support on the run and so on, they said that he had good speed, that he just wasn't, a cover guy. And I thought, okay, well, that's got to mean tight end. So I'm glad you knew that. I appreciate you adding that to the show. Yeah, this draft has plenty of tight ends. I agree. Lance Sanfilippo, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I'm doing real well. How are your Giants doing? Everyone welcomes Lance Sanfilippo, fan of the team that just took ownership of our Darren Waller. Ray McClain, 2 of the 4 teams we beat at the end of the season had multiple star players out due to COVID, and we barely beat them. Indy and Clee and San Diego beat themselves. True that. Does Darren Waller have good hands? Is he good when he's healthy? Lance Sanfilippo, Darren Waller does have good hands, and he is good when he's healthy, but far too often, he's not healthy. But good luck. He's not a good blocker either. Really bad blocker. Matt Marinovich said, I think we're going to get more blocking tight ends to protect Mr. Jimmy Glass, especially when you consider we've let go of Waller, and I think Foster Moreau's on the block. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised if we lose Foster Moreau too. Did we sign player from Chargers, cut him, pick up last season? Troy Gill, I'm not sure on that one. You cannot make an omelet without cracking a few eggs. Trust the process. Make an omelet. Right, Jeff Foster? I like the Epps and the Spillane signings on defense. Aaron Ramos, I agree a lot. And more importantly, now that we did that, I like the Sidney Jones corner signing. I like the the Brian Faison signing. Sidney Jones and Faison could be very, I'm trying to think of the right word because you know me, I don't like to blow smoke up Raider Nation. I don't gaslight, but I will say this. Are they going to be all pro? No. Are they going to be shut down? No. But are they going to be tough? Yes. Are they going to be suckers? Are they going to be doormats? No. They'll make plays. They'll be there. Will they get beat sometimes? Absolutely. But they'll be there. And they'll play the run. Faison and Sidney Jones will come up and play the run. So I like that. If you notice, there's a theme here. You're seeing a lot of guys being added that are going to come up and they're going to finish, these guys, and they're solid tacklers. What's your opinion on the quarterback situation? I haven't been able to watch a show in a while. Jared Murphy, the quarterback situation is dire because we lost our backup quarterback, Jared Stidham, to the Broncos. We picked up Jimmy Garoppolo, who is, in my opinion, the most injury-prone quarterback that was available in free agency, and we gave him a $45 million injury guarantee. So the quarterback situation is dire, in my opinion. I think we need to get a super solid backup. I would still look at Jacoby Brissett. I would bring in Jimmy G. Jacoby Brissett would probably find it ironic because he was behind Garoppolo in New England, and Raider fans would vomit over the fact we're bringing in another pay raider or Raider Ratriot. I don't know. But I think Jacoby Brissett could beat him out. And if he doesn't, the moment Jimmy goes down, we get better if you bring in Jacoby Brissett. I would like that, and he would be cheap. Jacoby Brissett would only cost us about $8 million. And you have to guarantee like 3, Matthew Fagan, there are still a lot of defensive free agents still available. Let's not panic, people. Oh, Matthew Fagan, there's a lot of defensive tackles, a lot of linebackers. There's still going to be movement. John Leon, I see YouTube questions. I'm just not seeing as many of them. What are we going to do for a tight end? Jim Vanderland, I like the guy out of South Dakota. But what we're going to do, I don't know. I think we're going to look at free agency, and I think we're going to look at the college draft. I think we may end up bringing in 4 new tight ends. Should we draft Levis, the quarterback, Kentucky, for the future? I think we should, and I think we won't, because I think we have our heads set on the more athletic Anthony Richardson. And I would argue that Kirk Cousins, everyone knows who Kirk Cousins is, okay? If you don't know who Kirk Cousins is, just real quick, he's the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, and he's formerly of the Redskins Commanders, and he's just one of those guys that he teases you with wins. He teases you with being good enough, and then he's not. He's Derek Carr, smaller. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel, and some people feel Will Levis is. They feel like his ceiling, when he reaches his absolute best, he'll be Kirk Cousins. He'll be a guy that can win some games. He'll lose some games. He'll lose some games he shouldn't. He'll win some games he shouldn't. But he'll usually leave you wanting. Can we get a defensive guy to cover Travis Kelce? Bob Standard, I would say we have an Epps. Marcus Epps will be able to run with him. I'm pretty confident in that. When I made fun of the Marcus Epps pickup, it was just because I didn't like the fact that he was so poor against the pass, because he played for 5 years. He's only got 3 interceptions in 5 years. And so obviously that's not good. But then now the more you read about him, you find out he's kind of more like a linebacker safety. He plays it more like Jonathan Abram. He plays safety and he helps in coverage. But for the most part, he's coming running up to punch someone in the mouth, mainly running backs. Juan Antonio Santana, great profile pick. I just joined. Do you think the Raiders are going to pick up a quarterback in the first round? I do. I do think they're still going to pick up Anthony Richardson. I think there's a chance they even still move up. I don't think it's guaranteed, but I think it's possible. Antoine Anthony, did you hear about the petition to fire McDaniels? I did, and it won't go anywhere. And it doesn't matter how many signatures you get on it, because it's not about whether or not we could influence Mark Davis. It's about whether or not Mark Davis could pay out the continuance of his contract. And then also, Antoine, and I'm pretty sure you didn't think about this, not because you're not intelligent, just because, we forget these things when we're talking about this kind of stuff. But you have to remember, it's not like other coaches. That's why we forget. Our general manager and this coach are a 2-person deal. So wherever Josh McDaniels goes next to get a job, Dave Ziegler's going right behind him. And I'm assuming that Josh McDaniels, when he's done with us, is not going to go back to the Patriots. That would be a lateral move. So I'm just going to give you a wild example. Let's say in 4 years we fire him and he decides to go to the Bengals in Cincinnati, because the Cincinnati Bengals just fired their coach, let's say. When he gets there, he's going to bring Dave Ziegler with him. And no matter how the things turn out for the Raiders and this McDaniels-Ziegler pairing, no matter how it pans out for the Raiders, he's not going to blame themselves for the outcome, and he's going to take his boy with him when they go to the next destination, hopefully sooner than later. Okay, Matthew Fagan, the only thing I would question is why didn't the team trade Waller for a second last year to Green Bay? Because they weren't sure they wanted to make that move. And I think now they are. Yep, Alexis Ramirez. That's why I was saying pretty much I thought he was gone. And by the way, Alexis, I think that's the first time I've ever seen your face in a profile picture. Way to go. Looking good. Morrow is gone. I agree. Jimmy Glass. I agree. Thomas Stevens. We need to pick up Calais Campbell. I think that's how you spell his name, from Baltimore. Calais Campbell is one of the best defensive interior tackles in all of football. Thomas Stevens, we'd have to pay him. I don't care where he's at in his contract. He's one of those guys. You're going to have to pay him. But I would say after losing out on Jalen Ramsey, I would pay him. I would. I mean, because to me, he plays a more effect on the field position than even Jalen Ramsey does at cover corner. At defensive tackle, if you get pressure on the quarterback, it affects the play immediately. It increases the odds that it's not going to work. It increases the odds of a turnover or a throwaway out of bounds or a sack. I mean, it just, everything about it's better. The Jalen Ramsey pickup would have been nice, but since we lost him, I'd really like to see us make a move like picking up Calais Campbell. I liked him way back when he was with, before the Ravens, when he was with the Jaguars. I wanted him then. Breath of fresh air, right?
And your mic sounds great.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Eric S. Stevenson Sr., what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Dennis Moyer said Waller is really just an overgrown wide receiver. McDaniels wants a tight end who can block and catch balls. Dennis Moyer, I have nothing to add to that. Completely correct. Thomas Stevens, the idea of bringing in Matt Ryan as a backup is brilliant. The only problem I have with that, though, is that he's a little bit injury prone, too. So you could end up like the 49ers mid-year on your third string quarterback. Let's not try to find our own Brock Purdy. That's kind of hard. Dude's a monster. Big old guy. Yeah, Mark Smith. I think he's actually one of the biggest defensive ends in all of football, or defensive tackles in all of football. Where do you see us in the AFC West? Second, third, or fourth? Third at best. Because I think we're going to win 5, maybe 6 games. I don't think we're ready yet. And I would say this to you, though. If Garoppolo stays healthy by some miracle, and I'm wrong, and he's not using this as a retirement package to go to Tahiti on us and end his career getting a tan, if he's not doing that, he's actually here to play, we might have a shot. Because I know we're going to get a right tackle. I'm absolutely positive we're going to get a right tackle. I don't know how good he'll be, but we're going to get a right tackle, and it can't be worse than what we were working with before. So you put him out there. Hopefully we can keep Jimmy G off of his butt, and he can make plays. I've been saying to bring Brissett for a while now. Me too, Matthew. It would have been much smarter than Jimmy G. He's more durable. He has a bigger arm. I don't understand why you want to spend this tremendous amount of money on Jimmy Garoppolo when you could give Jimmy Brissett $10 million tops, and he would come running to be a Raider and play well. By the way, look up his stats and what he did for the Browns last year in part-time duty. It was pretty damn good. And yet we want the broke down supermodel. I just don't understand it. Aaron Ramos said, you didn't say my name right. It's Aaron Ramos. You told Mama Bear you like saying that.
You like to roll the R's.
He's burning me for it. Aaron Ramos. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show, Carnal. Even if Jimmy gets hurt, he can still mentor a rookie quarterback from the sideline. Yeah, but the mentoring stops at the snap of the ball. The kid's still got to do it. You know what I mean? I don't care how good of a mentor you are. You still got to send him out there and make him do it. And if he doesn't do it, it's going to kill his confidence. And I just don't want to do that. You know what, honey? I think I have a new girlfriend because I am getting booty call pings like crazy here. I don't think I've been pinged this many times during my show. No. Are you kidding me? I got to go look at my DM and see if it's getting low in there. I keep thinking I'm getting messages with all your pings. Look, Jeff Foster.
I love it. It's probably manual.
Or maybe. That's how I hide her. I put a manual on her name. Why trade Waller for a third when the Packers offered a second 3 months ago? Michael Johnson, because the deal was with them. This was a different deal with the Giants. They offered us a third. That's the deal we made. We just didn't make a deal with the Packers. Eric S. Stevenson said the Colts are going to cut Matt Ryan. Yeah, I read that, but bringing him on as a backup would be fine to me. But if he's going to be a backup, wouldn't you be more selective about where you went to be a backup? I mean, if I'm Matt Ryan, I'd probably go to the Niners because there's a chance he could play. There's a chance he could play and have great success. I mean, Matt Ryan's an accurate passer. You block for him and running and have a running game and a defense. Let's see, like they have in Santa Clara, you could win a Super Bowl. So you better hope Matt Ryan doesn't end up in Santa Clara. We better hope he comes over here. Ramiro Castro, we have 2 Patriot wide receivers. But the other wide receiver we picked up, the kid, what was his name? Philip Dorsett. He was with the Texans, if I'm not mistaken. Ramiro Cashflow Castro. Sorry, Oakland Raiders for life. This team ain't them. Randy Watson, they were never going to be, you know what I mean? But we can't be that old fuddy-duddy that doesn't want to grow and change. You know what I mean? I'm just not like that. So if in 10 years the Raiders say we're going to be the Hawaii Raiders, we're moving to Hawaii, well, I'm all in. There is no quit. I don't give up. I don't walk away. I love for life. That's why my wife keeps me around. I love you more. For Waller, we got a 3rd-round pick and $12 million to use for other free agencies. Right, Matt Marinich. I mean, yeah, we didn't get a 2nd-round pick like we might have from Green Bay, but so what? It's still a good deal. Right? It's still a good deal. Now we have 3 3rd-round picks. That's nice. Let's see. Whoops. I'm drafting Anthony Richardson, in my opinion. Okay, look, I want to make it clear before I say anything. I know Anthony Richardson has flaws. I know he's incredibly green. I know he's incredibly new. I know he's incredibly rookie. but he will learn. He'll be given an opportunity to learn now that we have a guy in front of him that's veteran, that can win, that can run this offense, and can get hurt and end up in the ER at any moment. But we just don't know which of those two will be true. Let's just hope the 4 is. Let's just hope that, he can stay healthy and we can get it done. Mark Smith, Chase Garbers can prove himself. I want to see him take some snaps. Mark Smith, we will see that, I think, in free agency, barring them. Not free, sorry, in the preseason, barring them making a move. If they keep him on as the 3rd or 4th backup, whatever, I think we'll see him in preseason, and he may win a job. He is a solid quarterback. Michael Johnson said Will Levis has 10,000 times the arm that Carr and Cousins ever had. Well, Michael Johnson, he also has more interceptions than Carr and Cousins ever had, and mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Will Levis fan. I was the guy who said Will Levis. Now, so Michael Johnson, let's get something straight, okay? We're on the same page. I was the one who said, and I quote, I felt like Will Levis was the best quarterback coming out of this. I said that. Over CJ Stroud, over Bryce Young. I said that, and I'm saying it again. I think that at the pro level, he has the highest likelihood that his skill set will transform and relate to the NFL. That's what you have to do. That's the biggest part of being a scout, of predicting talent, is knowing who will go from college and blossom into something better than we ever saw in college. Because the only guys that last and become starters and stars are guys that leave their college career behind and become better than they ever were in college. Alexis Ramirez, everyone has to realize that we technically traded Waller for a 3rd and whoever we spend that money on. Agreed. Will Levis will be just like Allen in Buffalo. Whoa, that's a big statement. But I agree. I agree. But I think like Allen, it's going to take 2 seasons for him to really get it. So I think Will Levis, if he comes out, no matter who he comes out with, he's going to be nice, but rookie-ish, makes some mistakes. 2nd year, looks better, still trying to get over the top. And then year 3, I think we see Will Levis really play some good football, whoever he's playing for. Y'all know Levis is deathly terrified of milk. Don't believe me. Look it up. What's that have to do with football, though? Bear, how many defensive beasts are we going to get in this draft? I would say at least 3. And I would argue and remind all of you that Max Crosby was a 4th-round pick. And we have 3 third-round picks. So there's a very high likelihood that we're going to get a star in the 2nd, a star in the 3rd, and a star in the 4th. Now, what goes on beyond that, I've told all of you to watch our 2 almost back-to-back 5th-round picks. I don't remember the exact number, but it's like number 143 and then number 146. So they're almost back-to-back. So those 2 5th-round picks are where Dave Ziegler, in my opinion, is going to earn his paycheck. Because it's easy to find guys in 1 through 4. The first 4 rounds, you can find talent. There's going to be guys who slip all the way from the 2nd to the 4th, from the 1st to the 3rd. And there's going to be guys that are 1st-round talent in the 3rd and the 4th round. So you're going to see that, okay? Now, once you get past that 4th round, and you get into the 5th and the 6th and the 7th, and you have multiple picks in those rounds like we do, that's where you got to earn your money. And when we make these next few moves, like Foster Moreau and Hunter, not Foster Moreau, Hunter Renfrow, excuse me. When we make this next move with Hunter Renfrow, whatever we get from him, it'll probably include a 5th or a 6th or a 7th round pick with it. And then that's going to give him another multiple pick in one of those rounds. So see, we're going to have to really watch closely on the Raider Bear Live special draft show. Don't forget, draft night 2023, Raider Bear, Mama Bear draft special right here, covering our picks. Raider Bear Live. Don't miss me. It will be a blast. But more importantly, I will be covering when we get those 5th and later on picks, and then we'll really be talking. See, to me, that's more interesting. The second half of the draft, to me, way more interesting because it's easy to meet all the hot girls in the bar when they get there early. But when it's 2 a.m, it's hard to find the hot ones if you're super drunk. So you got to kind of find balance. Okay, that made sense somehow to some of you. You gotta make solid picks in that second round and in that second half of the draft, and I think we will. Michael Johnson, Jeff Foster Jr. still doesn't explain why you turn down a second and take a third 3 months later. Okay, because it wasn't that it wasn't worth the deal. It was just we were trying to do something else, I think, with Green Bay. It may have even involved Jordan Love, and then it just fell apart. But we'll never know. They're not going to tell us. For the draft this year, we now have 12 picks, 2 3s, 3 5s, a 6, and a 7. I would say again, is it 2 3s or is it 3? I thought we got a 3 with Waller. I thought we had 2 and then got 1 with Waller. I'll have to check. Whoever said the process for that to happen, we'd have to trust McDumdum, and who amongst us does that? None of us. Someone come induce me into a coma and wake me up on draft day. Then you'd miss my show, bro. Chris Robinson, not a MJD fan, Bear. I get it. Oh, get him. Defend your house, little Frenchies. Go for the ankles. Go for the ankles.
Against your older sister. Sounds
like a plan to ruin the franchise, right? Yes, it kind of does. All right, gang. That's my show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard. For all you do, the energy and love of this show is dedicated to sacrifice. Active and veteran. Much love. I'm waiting. Abrielle, put it on and come show us. All right. Remember, like and follow Raider Bear on Raider Bear Live. Like and follow Raider Bear on Raider Bear Live, and subscribe to Raider Bear family page. It's right down there next to the blue thumbs up. And check out Little Cub. Oh, Little Cub Raider Bear blinging. Oh, no, stop it. Boondocks Raider blinging. They can barely see it because it blings so hard. My girl. All right, that's my show. Much love. We appreciate you all for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow night at 8. Raider Bear family page featuring the redheaded Raider page. Hey!